What's going on, guys? This is Zach back again for another video. Today we're going to be doing a brake job. We're going to be changing the pads and the rotors on this 2011 Dodge Durango with a 3.6 liter engine. So let's get started. First steps is you got to remove the wheel. They're 22mm lug nuts. There's 5 of them. You can use an impact or a breaker bar to take them off, but either way you're going to get them off. So once you got them off, you got this little anti-rattle clip right here. That's just outside of the caliper. First you want to take that off. All you need to do, just get in there with a pry bar. It may take some persuasion, but you usually don't come out too hard. And all this really does is hold the pad and the caliper together. Alright, one. There you go. And you will want to save this because a lot of aftermarket pads do not come with these, so make sure you save that. Alright. Now I'm going to turn the wheel. Hold my wheel. Alright, next, you come back to the back of the caliper right here, right? And there's these little rubber caps on the caliper slides. You'll want to remove those. So just take those off. And again, save these. You'll need them. You gotta reuse them. And there's 2 of them on the back here. Alright. Let me get in here. Alright, it looks like it's an Allen bit. Can't see what size it is. Alright, so these are 10mm Allens. So you want to loosen these, get these out. And it's better to use a socket and a ratchet for this. Because otherwise, if you use an electric ratchet or an air ratchet or an impact, you could potentially damage them. So it's coming out good. Alright, so that's all out. And my socket is stuck. Come on. And my socket is stuck. Alright, so I got both the slides out. This is what they look like. I had to use a 10mm Allen in it, but it doesn't exactly fit, but I did get them off with it. Just be warned, it's going to get stuck in there when you get them out. So be forewarned of that. Alright, so up here's a little clip for the ABS wire up here. So we're going to undo that, and we're going to kind of get it out of our way so we can work a little bit better here. There's another one up here that we'll undo. This is kind of how I rigged it. The clips are here and here. I just undid both of them. So now I can tie it back so I can get to this caliper bracket bolt that's right back here. It's a 21mm. So you want to take that off. Alright. So I cracked them loose with my breaker bar. So now, put the socket here. Okay. So now I'm going to take them off with my impact. It's a 3/8 impact. I have a 3/8 to 1/2 inch adapter on it because I don't have a cordless 1/2 inch impact. So, I'll do that. There are those bolts. Second one. Alright, so now that we've got the caliper bracket bolts off, this whole thing can just come right up and out. Okay, brake pads can come out there. Caliper bracket comes off here. And this brake pad is just slotted in here. Alright. Alright, so next you want to secure your caliper out of the way. I used a bungee cord around the upper control arm here, and then just around the caliper. Keep it that way we're not putting stress on the brake line. So just do that, and make sure it's out of the way, make sure it's not getting kinked or bent the wrong way, and we can move on. Alright, now we're going to get the rotor off. This one's a little seized on there with some rust and some corrosion. So, we're going to take a hammer, we're going to whack it on the back. We're replacing the rotor, so it doesn't matter if we damage the face. If you are reusing it, try to hammer around here on the hub to get it to crack loose. And I recommend putting the lug nuts on the studs, that way you don't damage it. But in this case, we're replacing it, so we're just going to beat on it until it comes off. Spin a little bit. Spin a little bit more. Be careful of the dust shield back here, because if you bend that, it will contact the rotor and it will make some very unpleasant noise. She's coming off good. We just got to keep hammering and spinning. Oh, okay, I see the problem here. I see the problem. See ya! Alright, so actually on the hub here, there's a little O-ring here. Chrysler uses that for some reason. That's why the hub's not coming off. So all you gotta do is go in there with a pick or a little screwdriver, pull that O-ring out. Alright, I got the O-ring off. Now we're just gonna pull the rotor. Alright. Just FYI, I am only gonna show you one side, because this exact same procedure is the same on the other side. So there's the rotor. She's off. I'll set that to the side. Alright, next you want to clean the face of the hub. And the reason you want to do that is to ensure that the rotor is seated correctly, and to also make sure that the rotor doesn't get seized up. So I'm using a wire brush. You can use an angled die grinder and a cookie to clean this. I unfortunately don't have either, so I'm stuck to do this. So all you do, just go around and clean it. Make sure it's good so that the new rotor will sit flush and be alright. Alright, so there's the hub right now. It ain't really pretty right now, but, you know, it's a lot better than what it was. It was all crusty and rusty. I just smoothed it out more now, so it's a lot cleaner. This rotor's going to fit a lot more flush. And also make sure you get around the circular side of the hub here, and also around the outside of the hub. Again, make sure this rotor is seated correctly. That way, we don't have a comeback. Alright, next we're going to want to apply some anti-seize to the hub of the hub. So again, this will help to make sure that this rotor doesn't get stuck on here. So, and you don't want to use too much of this. In the case of this stuff, less is more. So take a little bit of dab on your fingers, and then just rub it and rub it. You don't want to use too much, and try not to get it on the studs either, because that may cause lug nuts to come off. So just take it, go around the hub, around the side here, all around the face of the hub. Just make sure it doesn't have to be too even, but you want to get it as nice and even as you can. So just make sure all that gets covered. Alright, so there's what the hub should look like. It's fairly even coating of anti-seize. And as far as that goes, I use the ATF 2000 from Windsor. Works good. I've used it for a long time. Never had a problem. So there's what it looks like. Now we get the brake parts. Alright, so now we got the rotor. So what we're going to do, just going to stick that on. And to prevent it from falling off, what we're going to do here, okay, that obviously didn't want to cooperate. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take an old axle nut, stick it on the rotor, right on the lug nut. And this way the rotor won't fall off while we're doing our thing. So I got that. Now we just gotta spray it down with a little bit of brake clean. Wipe it off. There's that. Wipe off the face because this is coated in Cosmoline, and you want to get all that off because all it does is prevents rust. So you just want to make sure you clean that off, clean the face a little bit, up and around. And also don't forget the back, so we're going to take a new rag and we're going to spray some brake clean on it, and we're going to clean the back side. And just spin it around the times. Okay. I think I got it all there. Alright. So that is that. Rotor's on for the time being. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to clean up the caliper bracket. So now this particular vehicle, this Durango, doesn't have official hardware on the caliper bracket. All the pads do is they just slide on here. So all you want to do is just make sure that they're clean. So you can take a wire brush, clean off all the dirt, clean off all the rust. It doesn't need to be perfect, but you want it to be nice and good, so you can. So those pads will be able to slide nice and easy. They won't get seized up. So just make sure that's good. At least most of the rust is gone. So now that you got the caliper bracket cleaned up, you want to take a little bit of grease or silicone or whatever, and all you want to do is just put a little bit on this part right here where the pads are going to ride. So that way, like I said, so that way these can move nice and easily. They don't get seized up. And next time this thing gets brakes done, it just makes it a little bit easier. May not be you that's doing it, but might be someone else that's just as hardworking, or trying to do something right, just the way you are. Alright, so now what we're going to do here, these are the caliper bracket bolts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little Loctite on them. That way these do not come loose, because if these come loose, it's going to be catastrophic. So what I use is the blue 2420 blue Loctite. Just use a little bit down here, just to make sure that these don't come loose. They won't completely seize it up, but it will prevent it from coming out the next time it needs to. A little bit of that. Alright. Now we got the bracket cleaned up. Caliper bolts are ready to go. We're going to slide this back onto the car. So now we got the caliper bracket bolts back in. We're going to go ahead and just tighten them up. Just go and tighten them up that way. Okay. That's cool. Okay, hold on. Okay, this one doesn't want to go in at the moment. Give me a second. Okay, so I didn't have the bottom one in all the way I needed it, so I think I got it. Yep, got it now. Make sure those are snug. Alright, so that's that. And make sure that if you got stuff on your rotor, like grease or anti-seize or whatever, you make sure you clean that off as good as you can, because you don't want that on the rotor. Alright, next we're putting the brake pads on. The first one right here just slides right into the slots on here, onto the caliper bracket, and it just chills there. Again, make sure they move. Make sure they're moving freely. You're not struggling to put them in, or they're not seized in, or whatever. Make sure they're just nice and in there. Alright, next time, just resetting the brake calipers. All I'm doing is using my little trusty ratchet tool. This is hard. I can't do this one hand, but this is how I've used to reset calipers. All you do is just stick it in and it just ratchets. I can't show you right now because, well, I only got one hand, so I'm going to get this reset and be back in a second. Alright, so now I got the caliper reset. There's the angle here, sorry. So the brake pad just slaps right into the pistons. It's got the clips on the back, and it just clips right in there and holds into place. So now, time to get this caliper back onto the bracket. Alright, so we got the pads in, calipers on. Now we just gotta tighten up the slides. Make sure you use a little bit of grease on it, just to make it going a little bit better. So just get it in. And make sure it's going in. I think it is. Yep. So you want to make sure you get both of them started a little bit first. Just going to tighten them up. And just make sure they get tightened, and make sure they are snug and tight, because you don't want these coming loose either. Okay. Okay, so I was wrong before. This kit, these pads I did get, do come with a new anti-rattle clip. So go ahead and make sure you install that. Put this end in first. And just work this end in. Alright. Just make sure it's in there good. I think it is. Alright. So that is it. That's the one side, and obviously you got. I'm gonna skip putting the wheel on. So go ahead and pull that off. Alright. Alright, and also be sure to reconnect your ABS clips. Alright, you don't have to take them off, but I took them off just because it gave me more clearance. So, but here is the finished product, ladies and gentlemen. So that's it. That took me about an hour and a half or so. Alright. Obviously, the next step would be to put the wheels on. And make sure you torque the wheels to the proper factory spec. So, that's going to be it for this video.